In this video, I'm going to be talking with you about Andromedan starseeds and what it might mean if you are connected to Andromeda. I'm also going to be talking about the difference between soul origins that are Andromedan consciousness or from Andromeda galaxy or Andromeda starseeds, what that means, what the difference is. And if you want to find out if you are connected to this, also keep watching towards the end of the video. I'm going to show you how you can pull your free galactic astrology chart to see if you have placements to these aspects in your chart. If this is your first time watching, hi, my name is Cassandra, and I am a certified galactic astrologer and I am a galactic trance channeler. The information that I'm going to share with you today is going to be both from my experience in reading past lives, from clients connected to this, from my own studies as a galactic astrologer, and the galactic history. And then finally, I'm going to be channeling some updated information in this video as well from Andromedan energy that wishes to share what is relevant now. I found it interesting. One of the other videos I shared, one of the things that came up is that it's important to understand that we can't totally wrap everything up into a few characteristics, and also to understand that as our journey evolves, these expressions can also evolve as well. So that's a little bit about what we'll be talking about in this video. So let's get started. Now, the first thing I like to share is that in this video, I'm going to be talking about different aspects. And part of that is understanding our galactic history. So there are a couple videos that I'm going to mention you may want to check out if this is a subject you're interested in exploring deeper. Now, the first is I'm going to go ahead and mention this video here. And this is going to talk about sort of the beginning of consciousness or our galactic origins. Now, in this, I talk about group consciousness as soul origins. Now, the video will give a lot more of information about what this means, and I'm not going to get into that too deep right now. But generally speaking, I would say check out that video. And what I want to talk about it in this video right now is in that video I mentioned one of the group consciousness expressions is Andromedan consciousness. So, how is this different? Well, as I explained in the video, when we are talking about some of the early incarnations, these were before there were actual physical form, which started with different expressions, but one of the most common is Lyran starseeds. And I've done a video on that actually too. You can check that one out here if you want to learn more about that. But basically, there's Andromedan consciousness origins, and there's then Andromedan starseed, where you could be a starseed origin, or you can have a past life in physical form on Andromeda or in the Andromedan constellation, essentially. So the difference is one, Andromedan consciousness is early soul origins. And this is connected with energies that come from the Andromedan galaxy. And to find more about that, like I said, check out that first video mentioned. But generally speaking, at the end of the video, I'm going to show you how to find where the galaxy M31 could be listed in your galactic astrology chart. But really, I'd say if you are of a soul origin of Andromedan consciousness, then that's kind of something you would have to have go into your Akashic records or have a galactic astrology reading to explore more into that. Now, as far as traits, I would say that what I'm sharing coming up as characteristics for the Andromedan starseeds, these are very relevant equally to Andromedan consciousness. It's just a matter of where your journey began. And so it may seem nuanced, but I thought it'd be important to mention because sometimes people resonate with being Andromedan origin from the Andromedan galaxy versus some who have more of an Andromedan starseed memory of having a physical incarnation expression. All right, so let's talk about that. Now, as far as Andromedan starseed, what I'm defining as this would be those who have had past life journeys that were in a physical form that incarnated somewhere within the Andromedan galaxy. Now, there are different placements and expressions of this, but hopefully in this video, I do a good enough job covering enough that you get an idea of it. So, the first thing I would say is I feel like understanding this expression of an Andromedan starseed is helpful if you actually understand Andromedan consciousness, which we were just speaking of, because the consciousness of the Andromedan galaxy is very abstract. This is a frequency that is sort of ever changing and evolving, kind of like if you were to go on a walk and the expression of what you see is constantly shifting and changing, or is quickly, what I'm hearing them say is quickly adjusting or altering to your perceived reality. So, for example, what I'm feeling with this is like if you're going on a walk and to you leaves are green, then the leaves on a tree will be green. If someone else perceives them as a different color, then that will be their experienced reality. If for you the path is rocky, that is what you experience. It's sort of this ever evolving, shifting, quick, abstract environment. Now, because of this, it leads to various qualities or traits that Andromedan consciousness and Andromedan starseeds are often associated with. I would describe this as if you are an Andromedan starseed, you may have in this life a gift of adaptability, meaning in the sense of not people pleasing. That would not be what I'm referring to at all, but rather you can handle hardship, you can handle change, you can handle adjustments in your routine, things shifting, pivoting, thinking of new ways. All of these things would be characteristics that you may be able to navigate with more ease than what other people may be able to navigate. Now, I'm feeling inclined because I'm just wanting to connect to my channel very clearly, because I feel already like a lot of information is wanting to come through. Normally, I don't do it till later in the video, but I'm going to go ahead and just take a breath in the moment and tune in my channel to Andromedan frequency and my guides to receive guidance and what is wanting to be most shared. Okay, so it's interesting because I want to share something that I feel like I keep getting prompted on that I find interesting is also that there is a quality, and I'm trying to have them help me tune into. There's a quality of their frequency they're showing me that is confident, but it's not necessarily extroverted in expression or visual, and not expression in the sense of artistic ways, because they're saying to me, also, if you are an Andromedan starseed, you probably are gifted artist. I'm specifically hearing as it relates to fine arts for sure, painting, sculpting, color manipulation, but also in music. I'm hearing that. You can be a gifted writer, but what I'm hearing is they say this isn't necessarily a characteristic they would per se focus on. There may be more visual or unique like sound expressions. Also, they're saying they're showing me a piano, like instrumental. Like, oh, okay. You may have a gift in moving energy frequency mood adjustment, harmonizing energy through sound. So also sound healing. Sound bowls are coming up to me equally. So in that sense, so Andromedan Starseeds, they're saying these are some of the characteristics too that they possessed. But that going back to what I was sensing, essentially the Andromedan Starseeds don't what I'm feeling they're saying is it's not like a trait where they're going to be overly boisterous in their opinion. They're very open-minded. They have opinions and they can be very set in their opinions, but they're not always, what I'm hearing them say is it's like they're not always the loudest one in the room. You might have to kind of what is it that you think? And then you get the explanation or the answer. So they're saying there is that quality. They are very set in their ways, I'm feeling though. So while they are open-minded, also there is a aspect of them that is you can be what I'm hearing them say is you can be open and you can be is there another word other than open you're wanting me to use? No. Okay, fine. You can be open, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to commit. They're saying commit to one particular perspective or another. So whatever resonates with them, what I'm feeling is that is kind of where they are. Now, that said, I am feeling this essence in there are those that are Andromedans that have a essence of like rising up or inspiring. Inspire specifically, they're saying because of change. Okay, so because they are able to see what I'm hearing them say is they're gifted at being able to see like many layers at once, many dimensions at once. It's like if you had, I don't know, like X-ray vision or different vision to where you can see, but you can see beyond many layers where others might not be able to see. Because of this, they are very good at also, I'm hearing predicting change. If you're an Andromedan Starseed, they're saying you most likely are gifted at a gift of a clair knowing or clair sensing of change or just the inner knowing of, especially when energy is shifting or changing. The Andromedans are very good at crossing between realities, seeing beyond, dimensions, things of this nature. In the human form, this will manifest as what they're saying is in like a natural knowing, a sensing of when things are about to change or shift, a knowing when things are meant to change or shift. So there are Andromedan starseeds and Andromedan in human form that may find in this life. What I'm hearing is they may be individuals who have incarnated to be able to be the voice for change in ways that aren't easily acceptable just yet. Kind of like innovators is what I'm hearing, a voice for innovation. Okay, specifically a voice for innovation. So those listening, you may resonate with having a soul path or a soul curiosity or interest and opening up the mind to new ways of doing things, for the purpose of change. Because once again, that also has that quality of shifting, altering, adapting to difference and change. Thank you. I'm tuning in to see now. Now, a couple other things I want to add, I'm feeling inclined to share about is their physical appearance. So not all of these videos in this series, am I sharing this or do I feel inspired? But for this particular group, I am feeling also inspired to point out that these souls can have, well, especially if we're talking about Andromedan consciousness origins, these are basically, as I said, group consciousness expressions that were beyond physical incarnation, some of them. So if you're looking at Andromedan consciousness, keeping in mind, like I said, that this is a unique expression. Often they are connected to elemental concepts. So think of it as this. Think of it, I'm trying to figure out the best way to summarize this. It's like if you were to take a big picture and you were to say, okay, here's this big container with all these things. This is the closest to source in the beginning. So if you look at it as a beginning and close to that really powerful source essence, you can look at it as having access to all sorts of things. So because of this, they are very or have been very connected to elemental or had a lot of interest, is what I'm hearing them say, in different expressions in connection to elemental beings and elemental frequencies. So here you can have, if they can have like a fairy-like interest, or dragon, I'm hearing too, pixie, or light beings. They're showing me a visual of like this winged light being that is kind of like fairy-ish, which also there is a little more on the fairy-ish side than the angel side. But it's unique in expression, creative in expression. And then, as they took physical incarnation, which then we could look at, like I said, a physical incarnation on the Andromedan constellation. So often, if you are a soul origin of Andromedan consciousness, often you have had physical incarnations in Andromedan constellation. So those beings, often started off with Lyran genetics. And I'm hearing that as the physical incarnation journey progressed or evolved, so did the possibilities in the physical incarnation of expression, physical expression. So while the early Andromedan starseeds may have been in Lyran-like or humanoid-like vessels, genetics, later as they evolved, what I'm hearing is their species progression increased in vibrational quality, and then ultimately, because they are a very, 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 very old race, it was able to take various forms, different forms. So what I'm hearing them say is there really is no limit to what physical form may have been experienced, especially later in the Andromedan journey. And I'm also hearing this was very, very, very relevant, they said, to the desired experience. There were certain capabilities that inspire different expression in different physical form. And they keep showing me a visual of one of the energies that I have channeled, is called Ratu. And actually, I can share links. I'll have to put a note of that. Um, raw to link. I can share links to that. My partner has released some of the videos of me channeling this energy and conversation he's had with it. And Ratu is an avian being from the Andromedan galaxy. So they are saying that there are different expressions. And I'm just tuning in to see. Now, another quality of the Andromedan star seeds are wanting me to bring up is there is this theme of freedom connected. And it makes sense as I'm feeling it. It's kind of like, once again, if you have this feeling of um, unlimited possibility. With that, there can be this desire not to be contained. So what I'm hearing is star seeds within this human experience may have experiences of this that vary in relevance to the soul's journey, but it can be in kind of like wanting a nomadic like life or feeling like um, what I'm hearing is home feels temporary. You may feel like you're shifting an experience. For some, I'm hearing that and you'll know what I'm about to say, you'll know if it's you, I'm hearing. Some may be in a soul's journey experience where you're here to understand that you are free and also in freedom to nope, they're wanting me to keep them separate. Okay. So some of you, three types, they're saying three types. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna list three soul journeys. If you are Andromedan, let's simplify. If you're an Andromedan starseed, you may also resonate with three of these themes around freedom. One could be you are a soul whose incarnation is here to sort of understand or come to the realization that you are always free. So earlier in life, there could be expressions of jumping around or feeling fearful around certain, especially authorities, I'm hearing, or feeling like it's kind of like they're saying the grass is greener on the other side syndrome. And you're here to realize that what you're ultimately seeking is within and not projected externally. Two, some of you are here to be on soul's journeys where you understand you are meant to be nomadic and to allow, and there can be a sense of possible self-criticism in comparison externally to others. And you're here to understand that you move energetically to what you are meant to receive, kind of like pieces of the puzzle energetically that influence your gifts, your abilities, and what you're here to share, the knowledge, the people, various topics. So you are here to that this second group of you are here to experience freedom through the freedom to be nomadic, the freedom to be expressed in many different areas in many different ways. The third group what I'm hearing is that you especially may be on a soul journey where you feel like you are nomadic, you have difficulty with relationships, you may come and go often, and this particular group is mainly what I'm hearing is releasing fear. This particular group is, it's like I keep hearing fear of containment, that you are meant to ultimately be rooted, and confront fears. This group specifically, I'm hearing in relationship. Also, there being a theme of, help me understand how this is dogmatic. Okay, because what I'm feeling is they're saying this group also relation is significant and connected to freedom. And I was trying to feel the energy of how those two kind of mesh together. And essentially, what they're saying is that you can be a little, this group may tend to be a little dogmatic or stubborn and insisting, but ultimately, you are here to root and ease, to open up more, to expand more. So it's interesting because it's kind of like a being expanded, but where you are, if that makes sense. Hmm. And I'm just asking them to help me really define the difference between the first theme and the third. The first theme is more related to acceptance. Okay. It's more situation based. And that particular journey isn't so much about being rooted, it's more in of acceptance. So while the grass may be greener on the other side, also it still may lean towards a fluid way of living where the third group is the only of the three that is actually meant to be on a soul journey of rooting. Okay, well, hopefully that helps. That's interesting. Okay, so this theme of freedom, I'm just kind of looking at my notes. Okay, another thing I wanted to share is because if we have this open mind, okay, when we're talking about this quality, there's this open mind. Because of this, also, as I shared, you can be kind of fixed in your own ways. The Andromedan starseeds can also have a theme of doing things the hard way. And what I feel like I'm kind of picking up in the channel is because it kind of goes along with this. I need to figure this out for myself. I need to experience this for myself. It's kind of like having the 360 view of a theme or a topic. So this is another characteristic, I would say, of Andromedan starseeds. So for those that are in this lifetime, you may find that you are more reluctant to receive advice or you are more determined in exploring your own path. Okay. Also going back to, as I said, this very abstract quality and also adding in being able to see through various different realms. That being said, to simplify this, very clairvoyant could be a gift or very active third eye. Once again, they're saying also that adds into especially any art form expression. Okay, thank you. Hmm. Okay. Gotta look at get my glasses. I think I've covered everything. Ah, okay. One other small note, which I have written, which kind of I think we in different ways covered it, but once again, that openness. A trait could be as an Andromedan starseed, kind of like an indecisiveness, which would be kind of another expression of what we were just talking about, where it's like you want to do it your own way. But also there can be another version where it's like you could have difficulty making decisions and doing it your way, essentially because you can possibly feel consumed with kind of being able to see or sense the larger scope, different perspectives, wider view, abstract concepts. So it can feel like a lot of options. And so what I'm hearing specifically for this is part of those Andromedan starseeds who are in physical form right now is that you are here to develop a relationship with yourself and grounding. And as a matter of fact, they're saying overall, there is a significance or an emphasis on self-discovery and understanding what the self is capable of. This is another quality. Now, spiritually speaking, I can also say if you are an Andromedan starseed, you are a very old soul, which means you may also be able to easily grasp or understand spiritual concepts. This is something else I'm feeling. They are often very gifted intuitives and able to, especially once again, because of that, seeing through different dimensions or sensing, they also are gifted at reading or accessing the Akashic records. The last thing I'm feeling is that I feel inclined to share that Andromedan starseeds will often have a purple ray, which is connected to intuition. They're also saying to me like a magenta or a fuchsia, which is connected to the soul star chakra. They're saying also turquoise can be a color connected to them, but I'm also feeling that those who are Andromedan probably have multiple color ray expressions, which would make sense, I guess, the whole openness again. Okay, and I'm just seeing if there's anything else. No. Okay, well, let's really quick look at how to find out if you are connected to Andromeda. I'm just going to do this real briefly. We won't go too far into it. I'm going to share my screen. So you want to go to galacticastrochart.com, then go to free report. You're going to put your information in. I personally like Plastis. Um, you put in your date of birth, the time of birth, and the location. Now, while I'm doing this, I want to say if you do not know your time of birth, any of my either my package, Soul Journey package, or in my discovery session, which covers galactic astrology. If you do not know your birth time, if you let me know, I can do a complimentary short session to help you discover that. Now, also, I will share a link in the description that shows you a video that talks about galactic astrology. It'll go over how to pull your chart as well if you want to explore more about what that is. But in this video, we're just going to keep it brief. Okay, once you put your information, you're going to hit generate birth chart. Okay, and then when you come down here, I suggest hit show trine sextile square, show degrees, and then click generate extended report. And this will get you your full galactic astrology chart. Now, that said, as a certified galactic astrologer, the access to the software I have has a little more extensive collection and includes as well a very unique natal chart, which is provided in the galactic astrology readings. But for what we're doing today, that will be this will be good enough. Okay, so if you want to find out if you are an Andromedan star seed, meaning physical incarnation in the Andromedan constellation, you're going to be looking at, for example, like here it says Andromeda. You're going to be looking for these placements. So for this particular chart, if you have Andromeda and you have it conjunct or in opposition, most likely in some capacity or not, you've had a past life in a physical form, most likely on Andromeda. And I say most likely because there are a few exceptions to the rule. That's where a reading is helpful. If you have a conjunction or opposition to Andromedan galaxy, which I do not, but I can show you what it looks like. So Andromeda, here where it says vertex M31, Andromedan galaxy. If this was conjunct or opposition, this could possibly notate that you have had past lives in the Andromedan galaxy, or it could possibly notate if you are a Andromedan consciousness soul origin, but the tried and true way for that would be reading your Akashic records. But generally speaking, I would say the best way to use this chart without an in-depth reading would be if you were to look like I showed here, Andromeda conjunct, it's to Almach. So that means I have had a past life on this at this particular location. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing that. And as I said, if it interests you to discover more of that, you can look into that. But if you do have a conjunction or opposition to Andromeda, chances are what I shared in this video in some capacity probably resonated with you. Okay, so if you do want to discover more about your own past life journey and get more in-depth clarity and on these sort of topics, and the reason why I find that they're relevant is because in my client sessions, pretty much every session where we're unlocking these things, you're really unlocking what's relevant now. Even though it's galactic, basically these aspects are part of you. They're part of your DNA. They're part of your essence. They're part of your gifts. gifts, and they often show up in your life and in themes. Kind of like in this video, I talked about the 3 different themes that could relate to around freedom. If you are Andromedan, this is helpful information to kind of look at your own experience in your journey to see how that's playing out right now. Or if you are one of these star seeds, you may be very clairvoyant or have that inner sense of knowing, and wasn't sure or understood why. I'd imagine also I'm hearing if you are an Andromedan starseed, chances are you probably have the gift of being able to journey or astral travel. So that's something else that I feel like is coming up. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, if you want to learn more about me, click the link in the description, and you can find out more about galactic astrology and how you can book a session with me. Okay, all right, until next time, I hope you enjoyed this. Bye.